Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us today in our Open House Live event. We're very excited to have you here with us, and we're excited to share some good information with you. So I want to start out by just giving you a little broad overview information. My name is Shannon Oliver. I am the Manager of School Partnerships and Outreach here at the Montgomery campus. And I will be your moderator for today's event. So first thing I want to let you know about is that we are hosting a total of 5 Open House Live sessions this week. And like I said before, this session will be focused on our TRAC Center to learn about their services as well as general transfer information and career selection. Just before this session, we had a session on student services, and we heard from them about admissions, advising, and financial aid department. So I just wanted to let you know, if you missed that, I would encourage you, we recorded that presentation, we will post it online. If you have any questions about the admissions process and student services in general, please feel free to go and look at that. You can find that on the same website that you got today's presentation from. And so we will also be hosting 3 more presentations this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on different workforce programs. So if there's any workforce programs that you're interested in, please tune into those as well. Just a quick reminder, our campus is currently closed, but that does not mean we aren't here to serve you. There are a number of ways that you can reach us to get assistance. We have the Virtual Maverick Assistance Center, or the VMAC, and that is staffed Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they have admissions, financial aid, and advising representatives there to help you. And you can speak to them via WebEx, just like we're doing right here, and they can help you with any needs that you might have. We also have live chat options, which can be accessed through your My Lone Star account. And of course, our call center and our department email addresses are all available. You can find that information in those emails through our Montgomery Resources link that's listed on that page there. So just don't forget, registration for the second summer session and the fall is currently underway. So be sure to complete your registration as quickly as possible so that you can get the classes you want before they fill up. All right, so let's get right into it. Today we have Dr. Juan Lebron. He is our faculty counselor and supervisor of the TRAC Center on the Montgomery campus, and he will explain to you what that TRAC Center means. But his presentation will teach us all about the myriad of programs and events that the TRAC Center does for our students, as well as give us some great information about the transfer process and how that works. As you were listening to Dr. Lebron talk today and you have a question, please feel free to use that Q&A box on your screen. And at the end of the session, we will address those questions as best we can, and we will get you answers. So let's dive right in with Dr. Lebron. Dr. Lebron, go ahead and get us started.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver, and thank you and your department, along with Ms. Nelson, for inviting me to share with our prospective students and incoming students and community members. At this time, I want to showcase what the Transfer Center and Career Center is all about. It stands for Transfer, Recruitment, and Careers, and our goal is to basically help students get connected to resources. So our #1 focus is to, as you come in, become a part of our Maverick family, is for us to sit down with you and connect with you. And now we're doing it virtually to make sure that you have the plan and the alignment of the right courses that you need to take to help you get from here into A&M or into UT Austin or into Sam Houston or University of Houston, and you name it. That's our #1 goal. On top of helping students transfer, then what we love to do is help students get connected with aligning their career goals. So preparing now to the careers that they are going to enter. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Nelson. So what I want to do is basically welcome all of you to Lone Star College-Montgomery, and I want you to know that if you start with us, you can pretty much transfer anywhere. So what I did here in this slide is I'm showing you 6 students that I personally worked with, and I still stay in contact with them. And the young lady on the top right, you'll see it says Texas Tech University. That's one of my former students, Stephania, who started with us. She wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and basically she said, you know what, Dr. Lebron, my #1 goal is to get to Texas A&M. And I said, great, let's work on that. But I also, along her journey, I told her, I said, I want you to look at other schools. She was a fabulous student. So I said, I want you to look at other schools. And I made an arrangement for her to connect with the Texas Tech University representative And she was like, Dr. LeBron, I only want to go to A&M. And I said, hey, just sit down with them, listen to them. You don't have to commit, but just kind of take a look and connect with them. Sure enough, when she connected with Texas Tech and the representative, Texas Tech offered her a $30,000 scholarship, which A&M was only offering her $9,000. So at that moment, she made the decision to go to Texas Tech because she knew that her education would be totally covered. And I'm glad that she did, because Texas Tech recognized how good of a student she was. And she graduated about a year and a half ago with her bachelor's in mechanical engineering. She was such a top student that when she graduated, Texas Tech offered her the opportunity to start her PhD, her doctoral work. And right now she's in her second year of her PhD program, totally free. So the point I'm making here is that as you see all these students in that slide, they all came in just like you. They all wanted to go somewhere, and they wanted to transfer to a university. Some of them weren't quite sure as to where to go, but our goal is to sit down and process all of those concerns and all of those questions, and even the plans that you may already have, so that when you start with us, you can transfer anywhere. So these are success stories of students that have been at those multiple institutions. Go forward. So I'd like to start highlighting our top 10. So these are our top 10 universities where students transfer to after this past spring semester. So as you can see, most of our students transfer to Sam Houston State University. They're number one on our list, and they better be number one because they have a campus literally right next to us. So a lot of our students transferring to Sam Houston State University. Number two is Texas A&M in College Station. As you can see there, 464 students transferred this past spring, rounded up by University of Houston, University of Texas, and Texas State University. The other bottom five that you see there are rapidly increasing their numbers because they're doing a lot of recruiting. Stephen F. Austin State University actually has two programs right at our campus. They have a bachelor's and a master's in social work, and they also have a bachelor's in sports business right next door to our campus. So these numbers fluctuate year to year, but I wanted to show you that, hey, if you start with us and you're serious about, I want to go somewhere, I want to get a college degree and transfer to a four-year university, we definitely are going to do everything within our power to help you realize that dream. And these are our top 10 universities to show you some data of where our students are going. Next. So how do we do it? Well, we invite university representatives to come into our campus and give out presentations, to meet with students one-on-one or in small groups. And that's part of it through our Transfer Days program. And Transfer Days, we usually have either a Transfer Tuesday or a Transfer Wednesday event where we bring multiple universities. On average, I typically bring about 22 to 24 universities every semester to come and talk to our students. So A&M comes to us, Texas Tech comes to us, Baylor has come to us, LSU has come to us. And these are opportunities for you as a student to ask questions, to be in front of them without having to drive all the way to Baton Rouge or all the way to Lubbock. I have those representatives coming regularly. Recently, of course, with the COVID-19 transition that we're going through, what I've done is I've allowed that same process to take place, but it's taking place virtually. Just last week, Sam Houston did a virtual transfer information session. The week prior to that, we had Texas A&M. Prior to that, Texas Tech. So we constantly bring in those representatives, and we give you opportunities for you to stay connected with those resources without you having to travel or going through the hassle of trying to figure out who to talk to. Okay. So as you can see, we normally do it by majors. So sometimes I'll bring university representatives to help out answer questions for our business majors, sometimes for engineering, mathematics, health occupations, teaching, education, liberal arts. So depending on your major, we usually bring in those representatives. Right now, because we're doing everything virtual, those representatives that I'm bringing are senior transfer advisors that can pretty much cover information on all the fields. So if you can't connect to any of these events, definitely I'm going to give you my contact information at the end of this presentation. Hey, Dr. LeBron, I would like to learn more about how I can become an Aggie. And we could definitely, arrange either a session with me or with a Texas A&M representative to answer those questions for you. Okay. So again, these are just some events that we had this past year. This past spring, unfortunately, everything that we did has been virtual, and we look forward to having and continuing and expanding the options that we have this fall semester, again, in a virtual format. So transfer advising. So from a transfer advising standpoint, Ms. Nelson, if you can move on to the next slide. Every university has a degree plan. So you're not alone in trying to figure out the formula, okay? So if I'm an industrial engineering major and I have no clue what classes I need to take, no worries. Texas A&M tells you exactly what are all the courses that you need to take at Lone Star to help you get there. You're not alone in the process. Our advisors are going to meet with you. We're going to ask you questions about what you want to do, where do you want to transfer to, and basically we will help you build a semester by semester academic plan showing you exactly all the courses that are going to get you to that destination. The key here is we don't want you wasting time and we don't want you wasting money. We want to make sure that you're taking the right classes that are going to get me to SAM or to UH or to A&M, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Another part of our resources in the transfer center that we do is we do bus trips. Every year we do a bus trip, and we usually, at the universities that we've gone to, and we take students totally free. We take about 50 to 52 students every year. We've done A&M. We do A&M regularly. We go there all the time. University of Texas, Austin, Stephen F. Austin State University, University of Houston. We've done Texas State University. We've done Texas Women's University in Houston, the MD Anderson School of Health Professions with the University of Texas. So we've done a lot of those visits, and our goal, again, is to help you get connected. So when we plan these bus trips, we basically allow the students to get connected to a VIP access tour so that these schools can highlight their programs and you can see them face-to-face and touch and be there in that campus. I think there's always something special about a student being able to be at that campus and looking around and seeing themselves there. Rather than just having it in a goal, they can actually feel and be a part of that experiential experience in seeing that dream become one step closer. Okay, we're going to move on. So these are just some pictures of us here at some of these campuses that we visited. This is me and a group of students at Kyle Field at A&M last year. You can move on. I think we have, this is us at A&M. Keep going. So these are just some images of what we do, and this doesn't cost anything. You pay all of this through your tuition. So the goal here is to get you connected. So I've talked a little bit about the services that we use and that we deliver when it comes to transfer advising. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the other part of our role, which is help you with career planning. Okay, so what I like to do is bring in professional speakers. This is one of the events that I hosted, which is those gentlemen on the front table are all oil and gas company executives. And I brought them in so that they could share with our students what it takes to become an oil and gas professional. So it's not just petroleum engineering. There's actually accountants, finance, you name it, field petroleum service technicians. There's all kinds of different careers, and these experts come in. We bring them in regularly so that they can present their information and share with students elements that they need to focus on right now rather than waiting until later to find out that they have to, hone in on a particular skill. So this is a part of our role, and we love doing it. So this coming year, we look forward to having it more on a virtual setting. This is Matters Mac, who came to talk to our students a couple of years ago. Again, just giving students advice on what are the important soft skills to be successful in the workplace. And he also was able to share about his own journey as a business entrepreneur and community leader. So, the goal here for us is to help you hone in on those skills and to help you expand on those skills through career counseling support. So on the next slide, the way that we provide career counseling is we have a theme of career readiness. We want to talk about, professional attire. We want to talk about mock interviewing skills. We want to talk about how to build your resume. We want to talk about how do you build your personal brand. How do you build your network? So we want to definitely work with students to make sure that we help them sharpen up those skills. Because let me tell you, for example, the University of Texas, Austin, if you apply to their institution, part of their admission application is you have to have a resume. So if you have a resume and you want to make sure that it's 100% as close as being perfect as possible, then that's help and assistance that we deliver to help you do that. If you don't have a resume, if you've never had one, then we also come in and help you establish a file and develop a resume so that you can start building on that profile. Okay. So Show Me the Money is a mock interview day that we do every year. We didn't do it this past year because of COVID-19, but we're looking at ways that we can help students get connected with mock interviewing resources. We have, Glassdoor and different, and the Perfect Interview software application that we use where students can go online and work on their interviewing skills. So the key is the more practice that you do, the better that you're going to perform in an interview environment. And that's part of the role that we also deliver. Okay, we're going to keep going. So I talked a little bit already about this. So helping students from a job search standpoint, resume writing, interviewing, and work ethics. One of the things that we don't do is we don't do job placement or internship placement, but we definitely receive a lot of inquiries from companies that are looking to hire college students. So we have a really active job board within our department. So if you're a college student and you're not working, or if you're working and you want to get a better job, we definitely have a lot of options for you to review within our job board. Of course, right now with everything being so limited, those options have reduced in some way, in some capacity, but we're looking forward to recharging as we transition further into the fall. Okay. Now, so I've talked about career, I've talked about transfer advising and transfer planning. Now I want to basically end my presentation by showcasing transfer basics. How do I transfer? So Dr. LeBron, I want to become an Aggie or I want to become a Longhorn. How do I do that? Well, transferring is not a difficult process. It's a very smooth transition as long as you follow the guidelines. All the guidelines are the same, but all universities have different guidelines. So let me showcase what to do and what recommendations I can give you. So first thing is to start planning early. You should be already thinking about your transfer phase, even as you're coming into your first semester. A lot of students say, I don't have to worry about transferring until I'm on my second year. Oh, I have so many classes that I don't want to think about that. You don't want to do that. You want to start planning now because the decisions that you're making can impact that process. For example, if I want to major in business and I want to go to the University of Texas, Austin, well, University of Texas, Austin, they make you take regular Calculus 1 and regular Calculus 2 before you can apply as a business major. So me planning now helps me to know, okay, if I'm starting with college algebra, I better take college algebra and all my math every semester without skipping math because I know I have to eventually get to Calculus 2. So that means I would have to go to college algebra, trigonometry, then pre-calc, then calc 1, then calc 2. And again, the more early that I plan, the better that's going to be for the way that I design my academic goals and the way that I take classes. So the earlier, the better you want to start that process. Okay? So what to consider? Well, where am I going to transfer? Am I going to live on campus? Am I going to live off campus? When should I transfer? How can I plan ahead? What is my major? I know I want to do engineering, but I don't know if I want to do electrical engineering or mechanical engineering. Is there a difference between the two? How much is it going to cost me? Am I saving money if I start school with Lone Star and do my 2 years here and then going to the next level? What classes should I be taking that for sure line up and match with those courses that the university wants? Those are questions that are critical. And the earlier that you start trying to find the answers for them, the better and the smoother that transfer process is going to be for you. Okay. So this first year, this first semester, as you come in, the first thing I want you to do is to make sure that you have expanded in all of your career exploration. So at this, what I mean by that is, if I want to be a teacher, I want to know, do I want to be an elementary school teacher or do I want to be a high school teacher? And if I want to be a high school teacher, what subject do I want to teach? What districts are in my area? Which district pays higher? Right now, school districts, to be a brand new teacher, that you could start out making $54,000 a year by most school districts in the region. But, you want to know that. You want to plan early, so you want to explore. You want to talk to an advisor. You want us to help make sure that your plan is looking good. Even if you build it, let us see it so that we can definitely give you that thumbs up to make sure that you are ready to go into the next phase. Research as much as you can about the university. Talk about their reputation, their graduation rates, the cost of their tuition, opportunities for you to connect with leadership options. You definitely want to jump into that from day one. You don't want to wait till the end. And you also want to get involved. It's not all about just getting straight A's and doing your work inside the classroom. You must also take steps to build that portfolio, whether you're volunteering in the community or you're involved in student government or student leadership opportunities or community service. Those are things that you want to work on to build that profile so that when you apply to a university, they can see, okay, Jackie and Billy really, they went out of their way to serve and lead in their community, not just inside of the classroom. And then ultimately, it's for you to make sure that you work on obtaining that degree plan, hanging on to it, following it, writing notes all over it so that you know that what you're taking is the right set of courses, not courses that are not going to count towards helping you get there. So career exploration, the sooner that I know, the better. We use different tools to help students get connected with that information. We have what's called a Do What You Are assessment. If you're undecided and you want to know what are the strengths within your personality and what careers match with those strengths, we have an assessment that we can help you connect with to help you start that exploration process within you. We also use Career One Stop. I also share with students Sloan Career Cornerstone resources, which basically are designed for those students that they know they want to work in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics type fields, but they don't know what direction to go to. So our goal, again, is to listen to you and guide you as you explore the different career options that are out there. Transfer advising, again, it's all about connecting with us or any advisor. Our advisors here at Lone Star College-Montgomery, transfer is not just an issue that we address from the TRAC Center. All of our advisors are trained to help students figure out what courses they need to go from Lone Star into that university. So whether you meet with us in the TRAC Center or you meet with any of our advisors in our student success team, our goal is to help you get connected, not to leave you alone to try to pull your hair and figure it out on your own. Our goal is to definitely put you in a good position to know what are the entrance requirements for A&M. What are the deadlines for me to apply to get there? What's the difference between me earning an Associate of Arts versus an Associate of Science degree? So these are the types of things that we aim to serve our students as they enter into our institution. Next slide. So researching in universities, this is something that you could do right now. So I'm going to give you these few hints, okay? Do you want to be at a large school versus a smaller school? Do you want to go to a private school versus a public school? Do you want to be in an urban setting or do you want to be in a rural setting? What scholarships does that university offer? What is the cost of tuition? How much has it increased? Will they have another increase? What does it require for me to get admitted there? And what is the geographic location, right, that I prefer? Do I want to be close to my family or do I totally want to get out as far away as I can from my local community? You have an option there because all of our institutions here in the state of Texas and surrounding the state of Texas, there's just about something for everyone, right? There's great private schools, great public schools. So the key here, though, is to research as much as you can about those institutions. Next slide. So I just talked to you a little bit about this a minute ago. Please get involved. If you were involved in high school through student government or civic activities, please continue to do that. We have a club for just about anybody that's interested. I believe a few years ago, we even had a Harry Potter club, right? So if there's a club that you want to start that we don't have, we have a process to help you begin your own interest club. Why does this matter? Well, because when you fill out a college application, they're going to want to ask, okay, what else have you done other than just being in the classroom? What else can you show us about the leadership skills that you have? So the more you get involved, the better that's going to look when you decide to transfer and apply at other institutions. Next. So degree planning. Degree planning is key, right? Every school, like I told you, has a list of courses telling you exactly what to take with us before you can get to them. You will probably all have already connected to this information or will be connecting to it via your new student orientation. But once you come on board with us at Lone Star College-Montgomery, all of our advisors are trained to make sure that you leave that session making sure that you know what's in your degree plan or that you have a degree plan if you don't have one. But the key is for you to get your hands on that degree plan as soon as possible. If you change your mind or if you change your major, no worries. We can always make those types of adjustments. Second year, so it doesn't stop. Your second year should be the year that you're now waiting to see what decisions the universities are going to come back with. what you want to do is you want to visit those campuses. Do I see myself there? Do I like the campus? How's the security? What dorm options are there? Can I live on campus or can I live off campus when I transfer? So the key here is for you to definitely expose as much as you can of yourself to these different institutions and go shopping, right? You're going shopping and you're trying to determine which school fits the best, which has the perfect size and the best fit for you. Okay. So talked about that, so we can skip this one. Transfer dates. So transfer dates are very critical. Do I want to transfer in the fall? Do I want to transfer in the spring? Some schools programs you can only apply in the fall semester, or you can only apply in the spring semester. So that impacts how and when you can transfer. So it's very critical that you definitely try to find out as much information as you can about the transfer admission process within that institution. Always know that instead of taking a whole bunch of credits, the most credits you can take at a community college before you transfer to a university is 66 credits. So here, all we're trying to do is help you stay connected with either getting an associate's degree, which all it takes is 60 credits to earn that, but making sure that you don't end up taking unnecessary credits and unnecessary classes. Next slide. So deadlines. Each school has different deadlines when it comes to application. So you want to definitely always work your way backward from the time that you want to transfer. So for example, if I want to transfer to Texas A&M next year, fall of 2021, so August 2021, I want to make sure that when I apply that I know the deadline. So I know that A&M has a fall deadline every year of March 1st. So I want to make sure that everything is in before March 1st. If I want to be there in the fall, then definitely, the spring, then they have a deadline of October 15th. So the goal is for me to calculate, work my way backwards in building my calendar so that I can determine when and how I should start my application process. Next. Okay. So again, applying to a university is very simple. You go to the admissions page, you click on transfer admission, and every school will always have a step 1, step 2, step 3. The most common things to do when you're transferring, you apply to that university within the deadline, you submit your transcripts, and you basically then wait till you get a response from them. So the key here is, that the process is graduating from Lone Star is very easy. As long as you have everything lined up and you're doing it before the deadline, transferring to a 4-year university is perhaps one of the most smooth processes that you'll ever encounter. So the key here is to know fall diploma for students applying for fall. The deadlines are always set by March 1st, but I always tell students, listen, try to apply for those graduation deadlines by February. So these are our graduation deadlines from Lone Star. So around October 1st, you want to apply if you're a fall diploma student, February 1st if you're a spring diploma student, or April if you're a summer student. And applying for graduation at Lone Star, I've timed it. I've timed students doing the application. It usually doesn't take more than 45 seconds for them to do. Go ahead. Reverse transfer. If you take a few classes with us and you go off to, let's just say, Sam Houston, and you take courses over there so much that you complete an associate's degree over there or you're close to it, you can always let us know that you are completing courses at that institution, and we'll review them and we will give you an equivalency credit, meaning that if you leave us without a degree but you complete enough classes at that school, we will do a reverse transfer, meaning we'll give you credit for those classes that you've completed at that institution so that we can award you a degree. So any remaining credit that you've completed there, we will use to count towards your degree, because our goal is to see you earn a degree from us, at least your first degree from us from an associate's degree standpoint. Next. So that was it. That was the end of my presentation. I believe I want to leave it up to the moderator, Ms. Oliver, who's going to probably ask me some tough questions, and I hope I can deliver with the answers. And I sure hope that all of you have questions for me, because I'm here to listen, and I'm here to make sure that I can answer any burning questions that you may have.
Okay, so you mentioned briefly about, completing a degree with us or taking a few classes, but can you talk a little bit about does it make a difference? Do you have to complete an associate's before you can transfer, or is one way better than the other if you get, a few courses out of the way? What's your opinion on that?
I think that's going to be based on the goal that you have as a student. You don't necessarily have to stay with us for 2 years to do an associate's. If you only want to be with us 1 semester or 2 semesters and then go, you can do that. But the only way that's going to, the only way you're going to position yourself to do that is you're going to have to find out what the university says. For example, Texas State University considers a transfer student if they've completed anywhere between 12 and 18 credit hours of college credit. So if I only want to take 2 classes, then Texas State's not going to consider me a transfer student, right? So that means I have to have a minimum number of credits to be able to transfer. But are you having to answer your question, Ms. Oliver, do you have to be with us for 2 years for an associate's? No, you can transfer at any point as long as you meet the admission standards for that university, the GPA requirements, and the minimum prerequisites needed to make that transition. So what I do is I recommend students to take as many courses in the first 2 years as possible, because the first 2 years, no matter where you go, everyone is working on their core: English, math, sciences, electives, social sciences, prerequisites, creative arts, language, philosophy, and culture. That's going to be anywhere you take, you're going to, everywhere you go, you're going to have to take those courses. But the good thing about us is we have smaller class size. Our tuition is 70% less than a 4-year university for that same course. So most of our students take advantage of that associate's degree. But to answer your question, no, you can go at any point that you meet those requirements to enter that institution.
Okay. And one of the things that I know I talk to students about is the core complete option. And can you explain what the benefit of being core complete is if you're going to a Texas public school?
It's a really good process to go for. If you're going to leave us without getting an associate's degree, then definitely become core complete. And to become core complete, basically what it is the state has designated that to be core complete, you must complete a minimum of 42 credit hours with us in the different major core areas, meaning you have to have your English, math or science. You have to have minimum requirements in each of the core areas. But to be core complete is just 42 credits. However, to get an Associate's of Arts or an Associate of Science degree is 60 credits, right? So you're only talking about 18 credit hour difference. So it's up to you whether you want to leave us early or leave us with the Associate. I would recommend get at least to become core complete, because when you do and you enter that next institution cannot question any of your core areas, because once you're core complete at one institution, you're already automatically core complete at the next. So the good thing, the benefits of it is that if I become core complete, then the university cannot question, hey, did you do your English, or did you do all of your sciences, or now you need to take more electives. You don't, because you're core complete. Then all you got to do is make sure that you complete the other core classes required to get into that major.
Okay, perfect. So let's just say I'm a student who has absolutely no idea what I want to do for a career or a major. What tools do you guys have in your toolbox as the TRAC Center to help students figure those paths out?
Well, first, we have advisors that are trained to help listen to students' areas of interest. And from a tool standpoint, we have different software opportunities where students can take what we call a human e-source test, known as the Do What You Are. We could do career exploration. We have different links that we can provide our students where they can start exploring options. So the key here is, how can I get that student to start thinking about what it's like to be in that profession as there are students with us? So in other words, if I want to be an engineer, I want that student to start thinking about, hey, does my personality fit in that field? What's the difference between a civil engineer and a nuclear engineer and a civil engineer and a mechanical engineer? So I want that student making those type of comparisons. So from a tool standpoint, we use the Occupational Outlook Handbook. We use the Bureau of Labor Statistics data. We use the Do What You Are assessment. We use Career One Stop. We use Glassdoor. you name it. We use tons of resources to help that student have information in front of them so that that can assist them in deciding what career they need to get into.
Perfect. Okay, so what should a student do if they want to go to a private school or out of state? How does that change the game for them? And will the classes transfer, and how do they know?
That's a good question. So do the classes transfer? It all depends on the institution. So private schools are a little bit more picky. And what happens is with the private schools is that they basically have requirements that are set from a different set of courses. So private schools can pick. They can say, we're going to take this number of credits and we're not going to take this number of credits. Because, there can be institutions that are private, Christian-based institutions that only have a specific group of classes that students need to take that are faith-based, that are Christian-based, and that's fine. It's just that they're a little bit more picky in the way that they select students. So another difference is that the private schools are, more expensive. They usually have less student body, but they have a lot more resources, and they have a larger endowments than public institutions. So their tuition tends to be somewhat higher, but they're great institutions. We have amazing private schools in the state of Texas. Everything from St. Edwards to Baylor to Houston Baptist, Rice, you name it. There are a lot of schools that are excellent schools, but to find out how to get in, you have to contact that university as soon as possible because they don't follow the same guidelines that most public institutions have. They have their own. So if you're going to go out of state, let's say you want to go to the University of Arkansas, I want you at that website seeing what the University of Arkansas has available and how they want you to complete their requirements prior to you getting to them. So the key there is to research and research as early as possible.
Okay, perfect. And what is the best way to meet with you guys, either virtually or in person? How should they contact you?
So there's my contact information for the TRAC Center right there on that slide. The trac.center@lonestar.edu is the best email. You send me an email there or send us an email there. Our website is right below that. And my personal email is below that along with my direct office number. So if you want to get connected with us, reach out to us at any of those. So I would recommend take a picture of that slide right there, put it in your phone. And if you have questions, just reach out to us that way. And usually we're meeting with students virtually. So it's either on the phone or a teleconference or text, you name it. Our goal is to help you get those answers to your questions.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the student questions and the Q&A here. We have a question that says, who do I initially contact when I'm initiating my degree formula? Also, is there any way to neutralize the required classes that I'll have to take my freshman year when I attend college?
So that's a good question. So those are two good questions. So the first thing, who do I initially contact? Most universities will have what's called a transfer representative. So Texas A&M has Ms. Elisa Chancet. Texas Tech has Lauren Estrada. So we know all those folks. And what I like about them is that their whole goal is to meet with community college students. So as you reach out to us, we will give you information that pertains to that institution. But if you want more direct information and more dialogue intensively and privately between you and that institution, we'll give you the list of those contacts so that you can make that happen. A lot of people don't know, Texas A&M has a Houston Regional Center here in Houston, so you don't have to go to Texas A&M College Station to get questions answered. They have representatives that work right here in Houston, and you can schedule an appointment with them. Same thing with the University of Texas, Austin. So there are a lot of resources that we are aware of that we would love to share with you if those questions are asked. So who do you contact? Start with us in the TRAC Center, and then we'll help you cross that bridge. Is there a way to neutralize the required classes that you'll have to take your freshman year? There's a way that you can plan things out so that you can be in alignment with that application that you're going to do for that institution. So I had a student that was a 4.0 student and didn't get accepted to A&M for engineering only because she waited too late to start her physics sequence. So when she sent her application and her transcripts, on her transcript, she didn't have a grade for her engineering physics class. All it said was in progress because she was taking the first one. So because A&M is such a competitive engineering school, they didn't give her a decision because she was in progress, right? So how do I neutralize those classes? Well, definitely, I can start those classes as soon as possible so that I can then have those transcripts and show that grade so that the institution can show that I've completed it. Now, neutralize the required classes. You're talking about how do you get rid of classes?
Yes.
So getting rid of classes, that's a different story, right? If I fail a class at Lone Star, we don't erase grades, right? So if I fail biology 1406, but I retake it and I make a B the second time, then on my transcripts, we'll calculate the B and the average, not the F, right? We'll calculate the highest grade. Some other universities, they don't care about that. You know, like A&M, they average whatever you make. So they'll take that F, they'll take that B, and they'll average it, which is a low C. University of Texas, Austin does the same thing. They average grades. University of Houston averages grades. Sam Houston doesn't. Sam Houston looks at the highest grade. So it all depends on the institution. There's no, once you get a grade, you can't get rid of it. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to get the highest grade possible. If you have a low grade and you have to retake a class, then we can talk about doing it the best way possible so that your GPA is impacted in the least way possible.
Okay, perfect. I have another one that says, I've been going off the business field of study map approved on 8/24/18. Is this curriculum still valid, or will there be updated changes or maps? Or updated and changed maps? Sorry.
You were breaking up, Ms. Oliver, when you read that. Can you read that one to me again?
Sorry about that. So
Okay.
we have a student who says that she's been working off the business field of study map that was approved back in August of 2018. Is this curriculum still valid, or will there be changes in the degree map?
Usually when you come in, you follow the catalog year that you came into our institution with. So if she came in 2018 and she's following that catalog year, she's okay. However, I always tell students to check with the transfer institution to make sure that they haven't had any changes or added any changes to their curriculum. So usually when you come in, the catalog year that you come in with is the year that you stay anchored to. But I always tell students to always double check and triple check to make sure that there haven't been any changes, because you don't want to be surprised having to take a class that totally changed that you weren't aware of because they added it to their curriculum.
Right. Okay. Does Lone Star transfer to UT Health University?
Yes. So now there are certain programs. So UT, University of Texas Health Science Center in Houston, they have advanced healthcare programs and they have advanced graduate programs as well. That's where their medical school is housed and that's where their dentistry school is housed. But when it comes to like their nursing program, their BSN, our RN program students can transfer straight into their RN to BSN program. As a matter of fact, a lot of our nursing students do. So do our courses transfer to UT Health Science? Absolutely.
Perfect. So what if I have a question that says, what if I'm applying to a bunch of different schools? How do I know which transfer guide to follow?
So what you want to do, that's a good question. So what you want to do there is if I am a business finance major and I have no clue where I want to go, then what I want to do is I want to get the degree plan for Texas A&M. I want to get the degree plan for UT Austin, and I want to get the degree plan for University of Houston in finance. You'll notice that most of the time, the universities have the same similar list of prerequisites. Certain schools add some or take away some. So for example, UT Austin, they don't care about business calculus and they don't care about business finite math. But A&M does. They want those two, and U of H wants those two. So it's those little differences, right? So what I would do is I always pull them all out, and then I would make like an Excel spreadsheet saying, okay, if I decide to go to A&M, these are the classes they want, I list them. If I want to go to UT, these are the classes they want, I list them. And then UH, these are the classes, I list them. So then what I do as I'm a student, I compare the three lists. Okay, which class do all three schools want? Then that's the class I want to register for. Which next class all three schools want? Then that's the class I register for. If one school wants higher, like UT usually wants higher math, then I would just follow the highest level track of math possible, so that way not only do I meet UT's standards, but I'm also meeting the other two, right? Because I've taken higher level math. So it's a strategy behind that. I think the best thing to do is to stay connected with us and our advising team so that we can double check and triple check that plan for you.
Perfect. And does our Lone Star GPA transfer to the four-year institution? And a secondary question that this student didn't ask, but I think is important, is what happens to the W's on their transcript?
So a W is basically me dropping a class before the withdrawal deadline, right? So a W is good to have instead of an F, right? So if I know I'm going to fail a class, I don't want an F on my transcript because that's going to destroy my GPA. So if I know I'm going to fail it, as long as I drop the class before the deadline, then I end up with a W. Here's the thing. The W does not impact your cumulative GPA, but it does impact your completion ratio. So student services like financial aid, they use a formula. They use completion rate, they use GPA, they use financial need. They use a different formula, and if you have a whole bunch of W's, that just tells me that you've attempted a lot of credits, but you've dropped a lot of those credits. So your completion ratio is going to keep expanding. So my recommendation is, if you have to let go of a class, then use the withdrawal process. But understand this, you only have 6, right? There's a 6 drop rule. So you don't want to use all 6 on your first or second semester. Those are there for emergency purposes. So instead of failing, drop the class, get a W. How does that look on your transcript? The university is going to see a W. They're going to know that you dropped that class. The key there is not to abuse the policy. I've had students that have gone way beyond the 6 limit, and the university then, when you get there, they have a chance to up your tuition. They can change your tuition from in-state to out-of-state for those courses that you've repeated multiple times. So the key there is to make sure you get the highest grade the first time around. If you have to drop, go ahead and do it, but just make sure that you know that you have that 6 credit count. Not 6 credit, but that 6 attempt.
And those 6 attempts, those 6 drops, they follow you throughout. It's not just at Lone Star, right? They follow you to wherever you go.
That's right. They go from here all the way till you get your degree.
Yep, 6 total. Okay, and can you answer that question about the Lone Star GPA transferring?
Okay, I'm trying to find the question, but I can't scroll down enough to see it.
Does our Lone Star GPA transfer to a 4-year institution?
Okay, so it's a good question. So it depends on the university, and it depends on their admission requirements. Yes, they're going to see your GPA, right? They're going to see your Lone Star GPA. And then when you get there, you're going to start that university's GPA. But they're going to have what's called a transfer GPA. So when they pull all the courses that you're going to transfer into them, you're going to have a transfer GPA, you're going to have an institutional GPA, and then they're going to see your Lone Star GPA. So yes, universities will be able to see your GPA. But if you're telling me, well, hey, Dr. LeBron, I have a 2.5 GPA at Lone Star. When I get to UT, does that mean that I have a 2.5 and I have to continue to try to raise it up? No. They'll see what you have at Lone Star. When you get to UT, then you'll start a brand new GPA with them based on the classes that you have in the institution. But in the end, yes, they look at our GPA and their GPA, and then they're averaging everything in between by the time you graduate. Perfect.
Okay, and this will be our last question. How do you obtain the degree plan for the university you're interested in, for the career path you're interested in? So basically, where can we find those transfer guides?
So you can go to lonestar.edu and type the word pathways on the search box. And then there's a website that has the pathways laid out right there for you to review. Or you can send me an email. You can tell me what major, what university you want to go to, and I'll be more than glad to email you that link to that degree plan directly as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. LeBron. I think you provided some really great information for our students, and hopefully they know a little bit more about the resources that you guys offer. For those of you who came in late or maybe missed a little bit at the beginning, we did record this session, and we will be posting it to this website, the same website that you used to sign up for this session, the lonestar.edu/live. You should be able to see the full recording hopefully later this week. And then if you have any questions, you know where to find us. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you again, Dr. LeBron. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great summer.
Thank you.